Cameroon becomes independent from France. Hollywood Walk of Fame is established, and US launches its first weather satellite. The year is 1960, and there is a lot more to this Plymouth Fury than meets the eye. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like. Did you ever just want to know more about cars off the beaten path? Maybe you stumbled upon this channel for the very first time. If so, you've hit the proverbial jackpot with over 400 episodes on lost and forgotten cars. Whether you plan to use these cars on the regular or for recreational use, we feature the classics, vintage, some exotics. We love orphan cars and cars off the beaten path. We dive in deep on the history, specs, button switches and knobs, but most importantly, we show what these cars are like. If that sounds like a channel that you will totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. I found this 1960 Plymouth Fury at John Kufleitner's Galleria of Vintage and Classic Cars. It's part of John's personal collection and isn't for sale, but they do have some stellar cars for sale in their inventory. Be sure to click the link below after the show. 1960 Plymouth model lineup. All new for 1960 was the Plymouth Valiant, Savoy, Belvedere, Fury was at the top of their full-size cars. They also offered wagons. Plymouth would offer the Fury from 1956 through 1958 as a sub-series on the Belvedere, with 1959 being the very first year Plymouth offered it as a standalone model. Plymouth would offer the Fury until 1978 in both mid-sized and full-size car fields, was offered in 7 generations. 1960 falls in the second generation, which had a production run from 1960 and 1961. Designed by Virgil Exner. Forward look. 1960 was the very first year Plymouth used unit body construction. While on the topic of chassis, let's talk about chassis specs. Brakes use 11-inch hydraulic, cycle bond lining, separate parking brake, drive shaft, drum. Suspension. The front suspension used a combined torsion bars, ball joints, control arms, and shock absorbers. The rear suspension entailed 5-leaf spring pack on V8 cars, 4-leaf spring pack on 6-cylinder cars. 1960 saw a redesign, so let's compare 59 on top, 60 on the bottom, starting in the front, which are two totally different designs. So let's talk similarities. Both are made by Plymouth, designed by Virgil Exner. Both have quad headlights. Both have that gold forward look badge in the center. Headlights and bezels are totally different, as well as grills. The 59 has an egg crate grill, whereas the 60 has a fine petite grill with little tiny bars. Turn signals relocated on the 60 to just right underneath the headlights versus the corner on the 59. Bumpers are totally different, as well as hood profile. The Plymouth is spelled out on the 60 versus script on the 59. Moving to the front quarter section, which gives you a way better look at the hood profile situation. The 60 looks very 59 Buick Electra to me, without the side flares, how it bulges up in the middle. Tell me if you can see it too. Windshields look to be very much the same, if not similar. Moving to the side profile, pretend both of these are convertibles, but then again, there are some interesting points to mention with the roof, but we will get to that in a minute. Look at how different these are. Starting with the front, the fender section, the 59 has bigger bumpers that wrap around to the side profile versus layers on this 60. Wheel wells are drastically different, both front and rear. Side trim has moved to the top of the 60 versus running the belt line on the 59. The 59 has a gas door, whereas the 60 has the gas door, but it's been moved behind the license plate. Both have rocker molding done totally different. Clipped fins on the 59 versus shark fins or stabilizer bars on this 60. Moving to the rear. Wait a second. Back up for a second. I know our car is a convertible and the roof doesn't really matter. But if you're looking for a hardtop, these have two totally different roof profiles. Not just that, but looking at the rear, the 60 has a bigger back glass. Both could be had with the commode seat bulge on the deck lid at an added cost. If you wish, notice the taillight location on both. Lights inside the fins on the 60 versus mounted just below the shut line or rear fascia on 59. Also, the 59 has the Fury script on the belt line trim on the fin section itself, whereas the Fury script on the 60 is on the front fender. Moving inside to take a look at the dash, which, if you've already guessed it, totally different. Which one do you like better? Let's talk specs. 209.4 inches long, 78.6 inches wide, 54.9 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 118 inches. It weighs 3,626 pounds. Price, $2,930, which is equivalent to you spending $30,393.90 in the year 2023. Total 1960 Plymouth production was 483,969 units, of which 63,073 units were Fury, and of that number, 7,080 were convertible. Moving on to engines, which you had a plethora of different engines to choose from. In the basement, a bit of conflicting information. Some sources said that this was part of the lineup. Other sources said it wasn't. I'm just going to go ahead and include it anyway. 225 cubic inch displacement, slant 6, 3.7 liters. It's good for 145 horsepower, 4,000 RPM, 215 pound-feet at 2,000 RPM with a bore of 3.4 and a stroke of 4.1 inches. Compression was 8.5 to 1 for main bearings. Stepping up to the first V8 option, which all had crazy weird names, 318, V8, or V800. Overhead valve, 5.2 liters. It's good for 230 horsepower, 4,400 RPM, 340 pound-feet, or 461 newton meters at 2,400 RPM with a bore of 3.9 inches and a stroke of 3.3 inches. Compression with 9 to 1, 5 main bearings. These numbers are just a jumping off point. 0 to 60 with a 3-speed manual transmission could be had in 9.5 seconds. Theoretical top speed of 109 miles per hour while achieving an average fuel consumption rating of 12.4 miles to the gallon. Moving on to the middle option, 361 cubic inch displacement Golden Commando. 5.4 liters. It's good for 305 horsepower, 4,600 RPM, 395 pound-feet, or 536 newton meters in and around 2,800 RPM with a bore of 4.12 inches and a stroke of 3.38 inches. Compression was 10 to 1. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in 7.6 seconds with a theoretical top speed of 122 miles per hour while achieving an average fuel consumption rating of 11 miles to the gallon. Moving on to the biggest and baddest engine on offer, 383 cubic inch displacement Sonoramic V8, 6.3 liters. It's good for 330 horsepower at 4,800 RPM, 460 pound-feet, or 624 newton meters at 2,800 RPM with a bore of 4.25 inches and a stroke of 3.38 inches. Compression was 10 to 1. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in a very impressive 6.7 seconds. Theoretical top speed of 125 miles per hour. I have a feeling that it could go a lot faster than that. Average fuel consumption, 9 miles to the gallon. And like I said before, these are all just jumping off points. Mileage may vary.
It's a doggone shame about some of these cars today. It's a doggone shame about some of these cars today. They get a few years old and they gotta be sold away. They just shake, rattle and roll. 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 But the situation is finally in control. Plymouth 60, there's a new day dawning for you. With the Plymouth 60, there's a new day dawning for you. With the smoothest riding car you ever knew.
No more shake, rattle and roll.
No.
No more shake, rattle and roll.
No.
No more shake, rattle and roll.
No.
No more shake, rattle and roll.
Oh.
No more shake,
Rattle and roll, go!
drive a Plymouth 60, the answer to all your dreams.
All your dreams. Drive a Plymouth 60, the answer to all your dreams.
All your dreams. When you ride inside, you glide on sweet moonbeams. Sweet moonbeams. No more shake, rattle and roll. No more shake, rattle and roll. No more shake, rattle and roll. No more shake, rattle and roll.
That's the sweetest story that anyone ever told.
No more shake, no more rattle, no more roll.
Let's talk styling. Look at all of the different layers going on with this side beautiful Fury badge here. I just love how this comes back and kind of boomerangs in the wheel well. It's got quad lights with nice big bright bezels around them. Just look at where the grille starts. Turn signal indicators. Look at these bumpers with the overrider bar there above the license plate. Beautiful Plymouth badge right here. Look at how this bulges up. There's a lot of different lines going on in this hood. Center line that goes up towards the wraparound windshield. Look at this wheel well. Look at how this trim piece, there's multiple trim pieces. And then it's got this petite trim that goes around the wheel well itself. Wheel covers. Look at how this comes up. Notice there isn't any trim at the top of the doors. Mirrors are located or mounted, I should say, to the fenders here in the front. And this one's got two mirrors, one on each side. Has this cowl, but it's not a vent. Opposing windshield wipers. Look at the stainless. Let's check out the wraparound windshield. Also notice as it comes back, it gets wider and wider. Like right here, it goes on both sides of the fin. And just look at those fins. This wheel well is flared out ever so slightly, but it's capped off. It's got multiple designs going on with it. I love these beads. Also check out the different lines going on in the trunk deck lid itself. It's not smooth or straight. Bunch of different lines going on. I love these. There's a lot of texture, a lot of different layers and levels. Toilet seat back end. It's got a center line leading to the toilet seat. Plymouth there, nice and proud on the back. Gas filler is right there in the center. This door has a bit of heft to it. Notice how petite the trim is. Here's my finger for reference. Bright work on the top of the inside. Look at all of the different materials. It might be all vinyl, but it's all different. Like up here, it's got stitching, and then there's this piece here that protrudes more outward. Man, what an awesome door panel. I do think this is a Plymouth. Armrest, door handle to pull the door shut as well. Door handle to get out. Window crank for the big window. Operates like this. Vent window. Oh man, that's so classy. Look, you pull this. How cool. Let's look at how this door is designed to go underneath the base of the windshield. Mopars don't really have much of a dog leg. There's a little bit of one, not so bad. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, you have emergency parking brake release and parking brake. There is a foot pedal that is for the windshield washer squirter, high beam switch, power brakes, and gas pedal. Just take a look at this interior. Nice quality shot. Here is what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood looks like. Underneath the steering wheel, there is tons of room to put my hand in between my lap and the steering wheel. And the only reason I show that is because these seats, they move back and forth, not up and down, and the steering wheel is pretty much positioned where the steering wheel will be. Let's talk about the steering wheel. It's not really a wheel, it's an oval, and it's got glittery bits on it, and it just looks so nice. Oh, it's so nice. On to the button switches and knobs. This car has push button automatic found on the left side, reverse, neutral, drive, second, first, driver's side mirror control, headlights, power top, windshield wipers, gasoline gauge, left turn signal indicator, amp meter light, speedometer, oil pressure light, right turn signal indicator, clock, coolant temperature, heat and ventilation controls, off, low, high, defrost, air, slider for warmer, ignition, hi-fi radio. Up above, notice the rear view mirror here is on the dashboard itself. It is not up above. There is a sun visor over here for the passenger, as well as a sun visor for the driver. And that's what it looks like with both sun visors down, and you can still see stuff out the rear view mirror. On to the glove box test. Here's our test subject. Here is my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. And I'm not sure, that opening seems pretty slender. And yeah, it's not gonna fit. The camera's too big. But the GoPro will fit. So, GoPro, and it shuts. Just look at these seats. Everything has like a sparkly shimmer to it. These seats are nice. They're the seats feel like they're vinyl, and then they have like this cloth upholstery on them. But they're different. And they're nice, and center armrest here in the front. This one has a record player, lighter, ashtray. Before getting in the rear, just look at the door sill. It's all texturized and it's nice and bright. So getting in the back, just push the seat forward, and that is all the space that you have to get back there. Here is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse, or the pillar to glass ratio. It's pretty nice and airy in this car. That's what visibility looks like out the back. Behind the rear seat with the convertible top up, you have plenty of space to store more stuff behind if you'd wish. Let's talk about the seat profile back here. The seat is rather upright, and it does dip down quite a bit in the back. These seats are really cool. They're very sparkly, very nice. There is an armrest here, as well as ashtray. We don't have a dome light in the center. There aren't any coat hooks either, but you can hang coats on this mechanism if you'd like. Armrest. The windows do go down in the back, and they operate like this. Man, how cool is that? And notice on the outside there isn't any trim, but on the inside there is. Coming to the under the hood section, the hood release is right in the center, right behind the O in Plymouth. Man, just look at that magnificent engine. Generator here. Look how thin the belts are. It's got 2-belt system, power steering pump, original battery. Dual quads with the long tube intake. Coil sits on top. Power brakes. Funky looking power brake master cylinder there. On the positive side, this design, in my opinion, has aged well. It's very distinctive styling, comfortable seats, large glove box despite camera not fitting inside, swivel seat option, cool looking dashboard, interesting engine choices. Against it, these can be very temperamental and finicky, especially with cross-ram setups. Getting hard to find because they were rust prone. Be sure to check over really carefully because these are unit body construction and water just like to collect in these and just eventually rust out. But the bigger question is, would you rather have a 1960 Ford Galaxy or 1960 Plymouth Fury or 1960 Chevy Impala? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Moving to the second scenario, 1960 Mercury Monterey or 1960 Plymouth Fury or 1960 Pontiac Catalina. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below or check out our Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. If you don't have Facebook and would still like to reach me, send me an email. All of it will be linked in the description below. Just know I appreciate everything that you guys bring in the comment section. I totally dig reading the stories and experiences you had with these cars and engines. Until next time, toodaloo! This is a car that I would totally buy. And for all the cars that I would totally buy, you're only 16. But you're my teenage queen. Oh, my queen. Hey, Archie. Do you want to go for a ride? Hey, where's your leash? Are you going outside? Are you going outside? Where's your leash? Where's your leash?